Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 28 of Talking with the Dad podcast. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Steve, how you doing tonight, buddy?
I've been in the house for a little bit, man. I'm doing good.
Good.
Felt like I was a little under the weather earlier, but realized that I just need to drink more water. I drink a lot of coffee throughout the day. Not that much, 3 cups, which is not a lot to some people, but I drink very strong. I drink very strong coffee. Each one of those 3 cups. So
you are a coffee snob. I have noticed that. Like you, some things in life, Steve likes to indulge in, and good coffee is that, and I can definitely appreciate that.
Listen, the skin of another human being and good coffee. That's what I'm into.
That's exactly what I'm about to. I agree on multiple levels, physiologically and non.
Were you in the office today?
I was in the office all day, but I have an opening here. I was reminded today. We'll go with that next. Actually, I have good stories here too. I was reminded today of potentially the worst movie I have ever seen. And
what's that?
As a note, hold on. As a side note here, I have seen Sharknado, not on purpose, but I have seen Sharknado. It's like a train wreck you can't look away from. I have not seen today. You've never seen Sharknado?
No.
It's hilariously bad. I today was reminded of the Cube series.
Cube?
You've never seen Cube? It's like a psychological thriller horror.
I remember it, but I've never seen it.
Okay. Cube?
1997. Yes.
Cube? Terrible. Right? Not good. But the first one is so open-ended. Like, you go to number 2, right? You have to watch the second one. There is a second one. Second one doesn't answer any questions. It just goes down a whole different storyline. Who cares, right? But number 3, Cube 3, Hypercube, is potentially the worst movie I have ever seen. Not potentially, is the worst single movie I have ever seen, and I was reminded of it today. And this is what I want to talk about. This is a good opening podcast topic. Before we do, though, if you're on the channel, hit subscribe. Seen a little bit of traffic recently. We love all you guys. We made a Discord. Please join the Discord. Join the discussion. Talk to us. This is the exclusive place to talk to us directly. Yes. Follow us on Twitter. Follow us on Instagram. Steve's doing a wonderful job over there on the Instagram page. Join the Facebook group. Yes. Facebook group's popping off. Steve's doing great things over there. Again, another exclusive place to talk to us over on the Facebook group. And if you're listening on the audio side of things, come over to the YouTube channel. We have tons of great videos over here. Hit the subscribe button. We're trying to hit 100. We're close. We're like 3/4 of the way there. We have to customize our link. Got some new stuff coming up in the works, coming down the pipeline. We're excited about.
Yes.
Now let's get to it.
Let's get to it. Hold on, let me pull the top. Hold on for a second. Wait, let me get this straight. So you knew the Cube after watching Cube 1. Your natural instinct to cherish your time had to have told you, get out now.
Have you ever seen Saw 1?
Yes.
You know how open-ended the end of Saw is? And you're like, fuck it. I have to see the second one now.
I feel that way about it's not an open-ended movie, but there's a movie called VHS. Have you seen that?
No.
All right. So the first one was okay. And then I realized there was a second one, and I was like, well, I'm going to watch this. Never going to get that time back. I can actually think of well, I guess this is going to go into the topic. What's the worst movie I ever watched? What are you asking that question?
Yeah, well, we're getting there. We're getting there. Yeah. You had asked the question of why was I going to watch the second and third one, right?
Yeah, why did you do that?
The first one is so open-ended, and it's a promising storyline, right? It's like, okay, what are you going to do on the next one, right? And it just is like a different timeline. It doesn't answer any of the questions, right? So you're like, all right, fuck it. I've already watched, at this point, probably 180 minutes of this garbage.
I'm in it.
I might as well, in for a penny, in for a pound, watching the third. Coming in number 3.
Keep going. There's a number 4. There's a number 4 being speculated to be made.
I just threw open my own mouth. It's absolutely ridiculous. What is the single worst movie you have ever seen?
Man, there's so many that's so bad. But I have to say, if I had to pick one, I would have to say it was Starship Troopers 2.
Really?
Yes, because Starship Troopers 1, does not pass the test of time nowadays. But it was such a campy movie that it's
these
like
are campy movies.
And it's like you could just everything was right about Starship Trooper. It was on VHS. Me and my buddies watched it over and over again. I just started drinking 40 ounces. I'm sure that had something to do with my official review of the movie. And I was like, nah, I'm gonna check out Starship Troopers too. But then, I digress. That might not have been the worst movie I've ever seen. I made all my buddies come with me on my bachelor party.
I think I told this story, I think.
Because I wasn't drinking then. And so I, like most sober people who think things are fun, I picked the events and like it wasn't fun. I was like, let's go see the new Riddick movie. That was the worst movie I've ever seen in theater.
The one with Vin Diesel?
Yes, not the first or second one. The second one is extremely over the top. The third one, what makes it so bad is that it started off really promising. And I'm on this ride, enjoying it. And it's like, it just takes these bounty hunters show up. And man, it just takes a turn for the worse. In fact, I think you should watch it, Zach. And you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Like at first you're like, it's one of those movies like it's man versus nature on a space planet. Okay. And then a bounty hunter with a really, really strong accent by the name of Santana shows up with his crew, of whom Batista is one of them. And then another bounty hunter crew shows up, and they're having hijinks and going back and forth.
I love hijinks.
There's a line in this movie where someone asked, "Why didn't you tell us Riddick was in the room?" And the guy was like, "He just came up behind." And that's when I was in the movie theater, and I was like,
"Gotta go."
This is a bad move on my part. Everyone was looking at me. I had not had people look at me like this. The next time someone looked at me like that in the movie is when I made my boys go see the sequel to 300. One friend I paid for. Oh my
God! You went and saw 600?
It's called Rise of an Empire. Right? But I'd have to say that's those two movies. Like so, Starship Troopers 2 at home, worst I've ever seen. Right?
Okay.
Friggin' the last. And here's the crazy thing: when they make another Riddick movie, I'm gonna go see that. You're coming with me. I'm in. I'm in. Get it. $22 THX, save the movie theaters. I'm going 3D. Let's do it. Can you name one good Vin Diesel movie?
The first Triple X.
That's not a good.
The first Fast and Furious.
That's a good movie.
The second Fast and Furious.
Vin Diesel wasn't in the second one.
Yes, he was.
No, he was not.
Yes, he was.
No, he was not. It's just what's his face that passed away in Tyrese.
It's Brian. It's Paul Walker.
That's not Paul Walker. Yes.
Yeah, Brian's the character name. Tokyo Drift.
He's in that one at the end.
He's in it for like. I actually hadn't seen any of these movies. You told me multiple times you hadn't seen any of these movies. I don't know other Vin Diesel movies, dude. I'm sure he was in some bangers. Hold on.
Pitch Black, amazing, great.
See, but you said to name bad movies that he is good in, and then you're like, "Yo, this movie was great, dude. This movie, that shit." Wait, he played Riddick in Pitch Black.
Yeah, he plays Riddick in all the movies.
That's a good point. I had never seen any of them. The first Triple X, good movie.
What did you like about that movie?
I just think it's like hilariously over the top.
It is. Remember when he takes the platter and does a rail, like a nose rail down?
Yes.
Pass a heat seeking missile.
Guardians of the Galaxy 1 and 2, and Infinity War and Endgame.
He had one line in all those movies.
He is going to be in Avatar 2 and 3 as Dominic Toretto. I am calling that one now.
I was like, really? And the car just comes through. Oh, man. Wait. Hey, we can go on a side rant for right now. I'm talking about bad things. I rewatched the first episode of the Last Dance documentary about the last championship run for the Chicago Bulls.
I have not seen it.
Oh, man. It is just I'm telling you right now, all you basketball aficionados, if you remember this era, it takes you right back there. And I've never seen a championship team, a team that was winning, go through what the Bulls went through. Like, it's amazing. Just imagine having done your job 100% right, bonused up, boss is happy. He's like, hey, by the way, there's a good chance
you're getting fired, bitch. Was that the Bulls? Was that
yes,
the Bulls?
100%.
I didn't know that.
100%. But that's really good if you get the chance to check that out. But yeah, I mean, I've seen a lot of horrible movies, man. Like, listen, I grew up in a time.
That's a good point.
I grew up in a time when HBO first came out. And you stay up too late, and it's just like all types of bad movies. Have you ever stayed up late watching a movie, knowing you have to be to work at 6 or 8, any of these ungodly hours, and you're never gonna get that time back? And as you finish them, I take it back. I just figured out what the worst movie I've ever seen was. It just came over me.
Holy shit! I watched it happen. I watched the wheels turn, and you come too.
Like a warm bath of sickness.
It's called blood.
The last Crow movie. I think it's called Salvation. Hold on for a second.
Oh, no, I'm not holding on. Crow Salvation. What is this?
Let me see.
Crow,
No, not
Crow Salvation. Oh my god, this looks awful.
Yes, is that the name of it?
The Crow Salvation came out in 2000.
What? The Crow.
Kristen Dunst was in this. Was this
yes.
This pre-bat?
And then right after it was the next worst movie I've ever seen, which was The Crow Salvation. Crow Salvation, and then The Crow Wicked Prey with the kid who played John Connor.
It was The Crow Salvation and The Crow Salvationer.
Talking about taking a franchise and just say, hey man, we really, really lowered the bar in the last movie. What can we do to finally put a nail in this franchise? It's because of these 2 movies. Maybe some people would even argue the second movie that they can't get the
notable actor in here.
Oh no! There's a man in the Wicked Crow that
the Wicked Crow.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's not the Wicked Crow. It's the Wicked Prayer. There's a man in here who is the most workingest man in Hollywood. His name's David Boreanaz. You might remember him from such greats as Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Killed it on that show. Paychecks never stop coming. Gets a spinoff. Does that for 5 seasons. Becomes extremely
David Boreanaz. I didn't know him, but I looked it up and now I know him.
Now you think his career is over after Angel, right? You're like, there's no way this guy gets on Bones. That goes for like 11 seasons. 12 seasons. This man, I like to call David Boreanaz, for all my D&D players, a perfect die roll. Like every time he steps up, he's just
a D20.
Yeah, he's like, bam.
Where's my? I don't know where my dice are.
It's like I rolled. Of dice. There's a dragon in front of us in the corridor. Give it to Dave. He's got it. Bam! Dragon's dead. Killed all the orcs.
Dragon sneezed. Actually, lit himself on fire. Dave didn't do anything. He was just there.
I mean, there are a bunch of contenders for the worst movie of the year, though. I don't know if you're aware of this. Well, not of this year, of 2019.
Okay.
Oof. So we got the Hellboy reboot, which was just horrible from what I hear. And I looked at a little bit of it. I did not make it through. Oh, man. And then we got Vin Diesel starting 2020 off strong with Bloodshot. Ooh, Birds of Prey. Who? Cats? Cats is a
dude. Cats has to be up there.
Cats is it's in there, man. It's in there. I'm sorry. We got to get off the subject.
Yeah, all right. We got to go away from this.
Wait, there's one I got to tell you about, right? It's not a bad movie unless Nicolas Cage is it. And anytime you go on Netflix and you see a Nicolas Cage movie come up and you're
away from it.
You jump in there, knee deep, both feet. You hit play and you get ready for a ride.
Steer away. He was the worst actor in Con Air.
That's a great movie. I thought it was Oscar worthy of his performance, man.
Okay.
Let me ask you a question, man. I know you used to play this game back in the day. Did you like the Minecraft movie?
Never seen it. I didn't know there was a thing.
Yeah, they have that. Wait, did I say Minecraft? Warcraft, sorry.
Never played Warcraft back in the day.
Oh, never. Okay, all right.
I believe I actually spoke about this on an episode
I think
over
we did.
Borderlands 3, which killed the gaming on this channel. You can thank Borderlands 3 for that. Let's see the official review of that game.
Every time I think about that, man, I'm just like,
hey, do you want to play the DLC?
No. no, I don't. But I will tell you what I have been playing.
Rocket League?
No. Which is extremely fun. I don't like to have a good time. In case you haven't noticed,
I've noticed that. It actually weirds me out a little bit. I thought I was the one in this group that didn't like to have a good time, and you're clearly that person, and you were outdoing me. And
if the music's great at the party, I'm complaining about the music. I'm complaining about the good food. I'm like everything.
Dude, can we talk for a second?
What's up?
Music at a party will ruin a party.
Yes.
If you have a bad DJ, like
that's the night.
DJ has to be if you're a wedding DJ, That is top 3 most stressful fucking jobs you could put me in. Not like total, but me personally, because I don't want to be the person who like ruins the second half of the wedding when the music starts.
I'll let Santana tell you more of the story, but my mother-in-law was giving our wedding DJ like the evil eye sometimes because he was trying to get
you. Did you have? You guys did not have a good DJ, huh?
No, we had a good DJ, but I love my mother-in-law to death. She was ready for her music for her friends at one point, and like, yeah. It was just like,
did you guys get married upstate?
Oh, we did.
Okay,
we did at a beautiful place called Hana's. It's a golf resort. Should take your dad there one day. That's actually, I mean, once assuming that we can ever go outside and do anything normal again. I didn't want to put this on the topics of the list, but I know you follow these things, so this is going to be one of those quick snippets. Protesters outside protesting.
I honestly I don't even really.
You don't understand.
I don't want to cover it purely because there is a level of I don't want to give those people any sort of publicity, and that's really as far as I want to go into it. It would just get mean and rude at some point.
Listen to those people though. Like and subscribe, and blow up our comment section. We welcome trolls as long as you subscribe to the channel.
And as long as you're funny, if you can make me laugh, you're allowed to stay around. But if you're not original enough or actually funny at all, then we can't be friends.
Well, okay, so we've all got that one friend, right? One friend. Speaking of those people, we're gonna speak of another group of people I always think are pretty fun at parties. They're watching us guys. Have you ever had a friend like that? Like they're always watching. Like, no matter what time of day it is, there's no loop in the schedule or coverage. Like, they're watching this guy 24/7. It doesn't matter that he's a high school dropout, still lives with his mother, and he lives in the basement. He doesn't do anything noteworthy, but they're tapping into his computer feed, that type of stuff. You got this.
I cut those people off almost immediately because I can't have that level of idiocy in my life. Because as a person, I'm going to be. Hold on, you're going to hear me out on this one here. I feel like I'm fairly smart, but I have moron tendencies. So if I surround myself by people who do that, then I'm going to fall down the rabbit hole. I can't. That's why I want to get the Alex Jones accent down. I was doing a pretty good doing that.
Yeah, that was good.
I can't watch too much Alex Jones because I feel like I'll just become a moron.
I've watched that Frogs video way too many times this week. I've got it down pat.
It's amazing.
So we're going to talk about something that I thought was pretty interesting that came up in my feed, and I had to look it up and watch some interviews. Dragonfly drones.
I thought we were going to talk about. Okay, that's fine. What about the Dragonfly drones? I have not heard anything about this.
Okay, so
there were.
Go ahead.
I was going to talk about the conspiracy theories about the the pandemic, the fact that they needed to recharge the birds. Have you ever heard of this conspiracy theory? The fact that birds aren't real and the birds are just a government spying technique, and they're using that to. I looked over at Steve. That's a bad idea because I knew he was going to be laughing. They're using birds to monitor and do surveillance. Dude, I can't. On people. The government is, right? And they needed to recharge the birds. The birds sit on the power lines, not to warm their feet, but to recharge their batteries, and it wasn't working, right? You guys have an old laptop, you know that the battery goes dead after a while, no many times you recharge it. So the pandemic was to recharge the birds. I thought we were going in that level.
Wait, no.
Is that the direction we're going, or is this like a legitimate thing?
This is a legitimate thing that's happening. This is a real
oh my god!
It's. Wait, but now I got to talk about that.
Birds aren't real, dude. That was hold on. When I was playing WoW Classic, that was like one of the bigger clans in the game was named Birds Aren't Real.
I'm looking that up right now. Wait, do I want to do this and should I go in incognito mode?
What? Birds Aren't Real?
Yeah.
You know, you probably want to use it. You want to use Edge.
Okay.
A different browser.
All together into one.
Yeah.
No, all right. So let's pull it together here for a second, man. So the police department in Connecticut is using drones experimentally, just trying out to monitor if people are sick. So I have to say it exactly like that, responsibly and almost legally, because at this point, the drones cannot discern if you have COVID-19, but they can tell if you have an elevated temperature. They can pick up other symptoms that are coming up in their database.
Listen,
and
there are, as a U.S. citizen, we're actually fairly lucky in the fact that we don't have as many cameras as other countries, right? We were
Right.
actually, if you look up the countries with cameras per square foot or whatever, like per capita, whatever, like we're actually like under number
Are we-
10
are
or
we-
something.
Are we really low on that list?
Yes, we're actually fairly low because you got to remember there's places like China that
Yeah.
every X amount of feet there's a camera watching you. So
Yeah.
from what I've heard, I don't have a source on this, so if you look it up and I'm not right, call me out on it. I'm fine with that.
All right.
They have a camera system that could tell who you are by the way that you walk. By how you take your steps, what your gait looks like, how fast you're moving, right? How you move your shoulders when you walk, right? They could tell you who you are. They can, with cameras, tell you your heartbeat, at what rate your heart is beating. Okay.
Okay.
So
I can buy that. Biometrics, infrared. Yeah, that makes sense.
sure, because biometrics means heart rate. Got it.
No, it doesn't.
This
But
is- This is where we're going with the level of surveillance that is possible. And honestly, if you dedicate a team of engineers, you could probably do way more than that. But if that's what I wanted to say before we get into this, I want to preface my conversation of where the level of surveillance actually can be compared to where we are in the U.S. So go ahead, Steve. I'm sorry.
No. Well, I mean, this is really interesting because obviously you're always going to have two groups. I don't think a third party could really get their way into this conversation.
Unless it's
'cause
mediation.
Yes, unless it's mediation, because it's so polarizing between the two. And it's always going to fall down to this fundamental argument. What are you willing to sacrifice in order to be safe? Right? And so with that preface, let me just say the drones,
I hate this
the company-
conversation.
here are the two things that are really concerning to people. One, that it won't be able to accurately, differentiate between COVID and say your normal influenza. Two, what is the next step once it finds out you have COVID-19? Do the black hats show up, throw you into a safety van, something like that, or you politely escorted to a safe space to be tested and treated, et cetera, et cetera. Here's the thing that really caught people off, and this is coming from he's not the commissioner. Let's just say he was the sergeant. I actually watched the interview on I believe it was ABC, and they asked him, well, what happens to all the raw footage that the drones collect?
That's a good question.
Where does that go? And he's like, actually, we hold on to it. And so the next thing becomes,
Was
what
it
if
the
these
police department that was saying this?
Yeah. So it was actually the police department saying this, and then they were saying, well, how do we know that the drones won't be repurposed for any other purposes, like investigating crimes, et cetera, et cetera. And so that's where it's really interesting to me. So I have my opinions on these things. I'm still kind of taking it in because it was so nonchalant the way they brought it up, right? It was so nonchalant that it was in the brought into the Today Show segment, that this is when the conspiracy theorist in me really starts to jump out.
Yeah,
So I feel like there's a way that they start to introduce things into your normal morning routine where you're just like, after repetition, you're just like, oh yeah, it's just drones, right?
So
This
this has actually happened to me, right?
Yeah.
I was back in the office this week, and I actually had to probably go in on Monday as well to finish up some stuff.
Mhm.
My morning routine now is when I walk in, they take my temperature and ask me questions.
Yeah.
Right. I don't mind because it's for the safety of everyone else. Right.
Right.
So I don't mind, but I see where you're going with this. But
No. So I don't have an issue with it.
What with the drones? This is because this is
No.
where I'm going back.
Go for it.
So because the drones now you lay a precedent, right? Of drones are now able to do this type of work, right? Which, again, I said this last week. I'm going to reiterate the fact that you give one person a power because you like them.
Yep.
Means that the next person in line now gets that power as well. And you may not like that person, you may love the person, right? So that the chief of police in Connecticut, in whatever city it is, right? Probably fucking Hartford.
Westport. No, it's Westport.
Oh, even worse. Whatever you give that chief of police, he may only use it for this and go, okay, drones go away, we destroy them, we get rid of the footage, whatever it is, the pandemic is over. But they now have that technology, and they have someone on staff with the understanding for the next chief of police who goes, we're having a lot of hammer murders in the east part of Westport.
Yep.
We're using drones to stop this, right?
Yep.
And that creeps in and now becomes a way of policing, right?
Yep.
And I don't necessarily like that. Now, where it becomes the question of what civil liberties do you give up for the greater good?
Right.
And I hate to say it, man, but I say none, right? So I get the quarantine, but it's not because certain groups of people are saying, hey, we can't do this anymore. It's everyone, right? Yeah. And it's for the greater good, right? And I know I'm immediately going back on what I just said.
It's okay. We're all allowed to do that.
When it comes to technology and surveillance and I don't even know, right? Like your general right to do things, I am very much for just pure freedom in a lot of regards. And I don't know if I could allow policing not to be done by a human. Humans are flawed. Humans are morons most of the time. All of us are just complete morons.
But a human can make a human decision.
There you go. Right? Because the original drones are going to be operated by humans, and then they're going to be partially operated by humans, and then they're going to be monitored by humans. And then they're only going to be monitored by humans at night between 12 and 2 p.m.
Then they'll be monitored by an algorithm that was created
and then they're going to be monitored by an algorithm. Right? They're not, or they're going to go to not monitor because, hey, they've done so well, right? They have 0.1% fatalities per million or whatever, right?
Yeah,
which is like 1 per million. But
let me just interject for a second because you're on to something, and I'm going to say this, and I'm willing to take the heat. So it's all about the narrative, right? And it's all about the spin. One of the things we always have to be concerned about, I'm always concerned about in these situations, is the finger pushing the button, deploying the drones, deploying the technology.
Right. It goes with exactly what I said. No, exactly. You're not taking any more heat than I'm not.
So, but here's the next thing. So you got to be very, and I say this as a dad. This is an official talking with a dad moment. I'm going to use some experience here. Be very careful with the groups that you align yourself with, because you can be a part of the ultra woke community. And I don't think that they understand that sometimes some of the things that we say out loud, or I'm not associating myself with that group by any means necessary, but you start saying, we're very hyper aware of police brutality, right? You see how the narrative can easily be shifted like, hey, drones don't have discrimination issues. They only see the law.
Right. You see they see black and white. Right. No.
Exactly.
I know the exact path we're going down. Right.
Yes.
With that. And I don't like it. So even back to when we were talking about Google and Apple teaming up and putting that algorithm through and the Bluetooth connectivity and this and that. Like even that I don't like to some extent because of the precedent that it sets. And I believe that was the narrative that I had put out.
No, 100%. And that's what I'm saying. Like, so what happens in this situation? They're doing it. Now, here's the thing you didn't hear, right? They didn't have to get approval from anyone. That's the part you didn't hear in this story, right?
Right. A lot of states are passing executive orders during the time of pandemic.
Exactly. And I thought I was hearing it wrong on the news. I was like, did I miss the part where they said they went to Congress or the Senate and someone said they just this is happening and it's happening in Connecticut and we're not putting our tinfoil caps on. But I just thought, since we're monitoring the situation, that's another thing to be aware of. Now, here's the one thing the police chief, and it was a police chief, by the way, said that he's very aware of. He's like, you know what? This is new technology. This is also a very good talking point if someone coached him. Like, it's new technology. We cannot 100% rely on this to be entirely accurate. That's why we're in the testing phase. We have to be able to build up data, blah, 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 blah.
Here's the issue is like that statement is always 100% followed by yet.
Yep.
Right. We can't 100% trust this technology yet. We can't let this technology run itself yet. We can't go to the moon yet. And something happens, right? That forces that along. And I want to get off onto a more lighthearted, more fun topic, the ones that we kind of normally stick around here, but every once in a while we go into, because Steve's background in I want to call it psychology, being around people so much, you pick up on things that you would have learned in a psych class, right? And my background in technology and cybersecurity, it kind of works really well together when this kind of topic comes up. So it's actually
we get to do what we do best. We sit safely here and pass judgment on the rest of the world. This
Exactly.
is why we're your main source for news. Stop going to those other places.
Right.
I did tell you that I did start Dark Souls. I started playing Dark Souls.
That's what I wanted to get onto, right? Actually, I wanted to start it off because there's two topics that pair directly together, and I have a long rant about something.
Okay, go.
What have we been playing, right? You've been playing Dark Souls. Please, I recommended Dark Souls to you a year ago, almost,
Yes.
I would think.
Yes.
I've on many occasions thought about just buying it for you on PC so you could play it and experience a game that I think you will love.
I do love it, by the way.
You've been playing it for what, a week now? No, not even.
Yeah.
3-4 days?
Yeah, about that. Yeah.
What are your opinions? How far have you got? Let's start with that. Have you made it past the first boss?
Got past the first boss.
The first boss is the guy you have to pull the sword out of, right?
Yes. Took 8 tries to get it out because I had to figure out the rhythm of this game, like how he attacks. And I realized something really strange. So I finally beat him. Let me start with this, right? I had to get on PS4 because I got it on sale. With times being what they are, being very frugal with the money and stuff like that.
Oh, it makes sense. Absolutely.
Took a little while to get used to how the resolution on the PS4. I'm actually using my gaming monitor to watch it because I'm so used to that now. I can't go back to my TV.
Did I ruin TVs for you for gaming?
Only for certain games. This game and shooters.
I am sorry.
The next thing is playing with the remote again. So I did purchase the back paddles for my PS4 controller, and I got to tell you, these things are a godsend in a game like that. But I have to get used to playing with the controller again. I found my fingers crunching and starting to hurt after a while.
Did your hands cramp after a while?
Yes,
I know you have weak baby hands, but
these hands couldn't defend anyone.
But like I play, even like when I go back, and I haven't been playing shooters recently, when I go back and play a shooter, my hands are cramped because I'm so muscle memory to something else. The last time I played a controller, I actually replayed through 100% through, other than the multiplayer missions, of Skate 3. Right.
Oh, that's right.
I did that on stream too. This is how long ago this was. I played through 100% of Skate 3. And by the end of it, my hands hurt so bad that it was actually depressing.
I'm sure, dude, because this was just for a little bit, right? And so the first boss is difficult. You're 100% go for it.
Easiest boss out of all of the Dark Souls games, by the way.
So first of all, the mood of the game is very good. I did do some research.
Can we set this first?
On the
what difficulty are you playing on? I know you like to play games on the hardest difficulty.
I'm on the hardest one.
You were on the absolute hardest difficulty, and it took you 8 tries to get through the first.
You know why? Because I realized
Do you realize it took me 8 hours to get past that first boss on medium difficulty?
Here's the thing, right? So every game has a rhythm. Every game like this has a rhythm, right? Every boss like that has a rhythm. You got to find a rhythm. His rhythm was not easy to figure out. And also I had to remember the character is very slow. I'm playing with the knight. He's extremely slow.
Oh, you're playing high defense.
Yeah. And it's like, but I finally figured out that I can start damaging that guy as soon as you pull the sword out. You don't have to wait for him to move. Yep. You just start getting into it. And then you don't have to really back up and play that game with him. You can actually go after him inside, and he has a hard time hitting you. So I noticed when he was going for the lunge and I dodged it, I got close enough and I kept hitting him, and he couldn't spin around quick enough to hit me. And I just kept moving behind him and hitting him. So did I exploit a glitch in the game? Yes, I did.
No. There are no glitches in Dark Souls. And so the farther you get into this game, you'll understand by saying, right? Because there are clear exploits in the game.
Right.
But it is known in the community, any way you could beat anything in the game is fair game, because the game is so hard. So it is not an exploit. It is not a glitch. You had absolutely 100% beat that first boss in one of the ways possible.
So here's the next thing, right? So I go through, get to the big temple. That was just basically like the tutorial meeting. I died 8 times to the boss, died a bunch of times to the goons before the boss. Just trying to figure out.
There is a really hard. Did you get to so in that first area, you could jump from, there's a ledge, you pop down and you kill 3 guys. Yeah. Did you get across that onto the other side? There's a little like thing, like a little.
Yeah.
So you got that, right?
Yes.
I could not get that.
So you're talking about the little glowing orb thing?
Yes,
that the dead
yes,
guy's holding.
yes.
Yeah. No, actually, no, I didn't get that. That's a bold-faced lie. I killed the guy underneath. I could not figure out how to jump over to that, and then I gave up on that.
I'm glad we're on the same page on that.
So I moved through the rest of the game, right? I'm really taken back by like just the imagery and stuff like
Beautiful
that. Getting
game.
to the Citadel, great narration. The voice actors are doing a great job.
Incredible.
And then I realized it's time for the I'm not figuring out after I talked to that high priestess or the sender woman, whatever she is. I'm like, man, what am I doing? Lo and behold, I'm supposed to turn around and just stab the sword into the ground and move on to the next level. But so I go outside
to set up your next camp, right?
So I go outside to explore, kill some more goons, and I notice there's a naked guy with he's got a loincloth on, and he's got a samurai sword. I'm like, I'm about to get this guy. I want that samurai sword. That dude killed me more than that first boss did. And I was gonna say, the AI in this game is like
Perfect.
Nothing I've ever seen before.
It is. So you like the game so far, right? I'm trying to think of what line of questioning we've done here.
Definitely.
So you like the game.
Definitely like it.
Was it worth the money you spent on it?
$14? Yes.
Do you think it's worth the time that you had waited from when I recommended to you? Like, do you regret not buying the game right away or during one of the Steam sales? And waiting until now?
I do regret not buying it on PC so that's just my preferred ecosystem now because I know the graphics is going to be great and I have to do a lot to play my PlayStation over. I got to run a cord onto this monitor. It's actually a lot.
Right.
It's three
not
steps.
That much.
I do regret not getting it sooner, but here's the one thing my only complaint about the game, maybe if I play with another character, and this was my complaint against The Witcher, is it's kind of sluggish. There's a sacrifice for that type of technical fighting and battle. When you play a game like Shadow of Mordor,
the story is slow.
Not
your
the story
character feels slow.
The character actually feels slow.
That's intentional.
Yeah,
it almost feels like you're stuck in mud, right?
Exactly.
Moving through mud. Yeah, that's
coming from a game like Shadow of War.
Different.
Like totally different. The guy can sprint.
Shadow of War is
agile.
more akin to Assassin's Creed in the movement, right?
Yes. 100%.
Yeah, this game is Dark Souls. That's it. There's nothing like Dark Souls.
So I'm definitely going to. So here's the next problem about playing it on PS4, right? Can't talk to my friends. Not that I would be talking to you guys when I played this game anyway, but I could at least pop in a Discord for a second and then pop into the game. This is like I'm completely isolated playing this game, and that's probably better that way. The headphones I use.
That is the experience.
The headphones that I use for my PS4 are the Turtle Beach, and these are old and they're outdated. Why don't you
just use your HyperXs? Are those really?
They sound horrible. These go through the optical out on the back, so it's got
way better. Yeah, virtual 7.1.
You hear everything, and so far I'm so dialed in. I can really nerd out about a few other things in the game. So that game, after I played that for like 6 hours, it made me go onto my PS4 Now account and download what's the other one? Bloodborne?
Yeah.
And then it's the same thing. I was like, man, I really slept on this game. I had a buddy that told me every day.
I tried.
He's like, you got to play Bloodborne. He's like, you'll love the story. You'll love the movement. And I mean, obviously the graphics are dated now. I'm like, oh, this is actually a really good game. So yes, as of right now, my preliminary review is amazing. I'll give you my full game review once I beat it in a year because it takes me a while to beat games.
It does. I'm curious. I want to know what the Dark Souls games ranked in difficulty are. I believe Dark Souls 3 is one of the easier ones. So this is what people are saying. Hardest to easiest. It is a massive argument within the community. But Bloodborne is the hardest, Dark Souls 2, and then there's a gap between Dark Souls 2 and Demon Souls, Dark Souls 1, Dark Souls 3 as the easiest.
Yeah, I can believe that.
So,
and this is like, so the mod community is like insane for this game. Like, and one day I don't know if we should talk about it on air or anything. Like, I've always wanted to know more about game modding, not actual component modding for the system but how
like
they actually
add graphics and stuff in
yeah,
there.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah,
a
yeah.
lot of times it's just you're editing the system, the game files. That's about it, right? You can.
Okay.
I've done this a lot with Skyrim, right? A lot. It's super easy. Skyrim has it built into Steam now. To be honest, like what it does is it overrides. It doesn't delete or remove or copy or paste or whatever. It adds a file, adds your series of files in, say for graphics, right? That'll update certain textures, but make that the precedent file for when that texture loads, right?
Okay.
So that's pretty much what it is. It redirects where certain entities in the game are, right? One of the most hilarious mods in Skyrim is you could put Macho Man Randy Savage on all of the dragons. And like, so the opening scene, you've never played Skyrim, right? The opening scene is you're getting brought into Helgen. You're been caught on the border. You're gonna get executed. And as you're on the chopping block, head on the block, Executioner lifts the sword up and is about to go, and a dragon flies in. Right, flies in, destroys a building. I know I'm setting a great scene here, but when you add this mod, all you hear in the background is, "Oh yeah!" and then dragon flies in. And it's fucking Macho Man Randy Savage looking you in the face. And it's so funny. But what it does is, because there's separate textures for the different body parts of the dragon, it replaces the head texture and sound with Macho Man Randy Savage.
That's amazing. And you know what I really like about that is that the game developer supports it. Once upon a time, I think I've told you this story a few times. Someone went into Bill Gates' office after the release of the original Xbox, and they said, "Hey, we found something that we think you need to take a look at." And they showed him the very first, not the very first modded Xbox, but the first one he had ever encountered.
Like a JTAG Xbox?
Yeah, like they changed the ROM, and then all this other stuff. And he was like completely taken back. And like most nerds, they're like, "What do you want to do about it?" And he's like, "We need to bring these people to the table." He's like, "This is going to be good." Obviously, that's not what happened. That's not how history will remember that. I think it's really good when they support these communities. I think after a certain while, if the game's been out for a while, why not just go Linux with it and allow people to do what they want to do?
Actually, the people at the forefront of this, and I'm not sure if you know who this developer is going to be Bethesda, right?
Yeah, I know Bethesda.
Bethesda is the first person, or the first, I'm going to say person, right, because I'm an idiot, but the first development team, the first developer to add DLC to a game. They added Horse Armor as a $1 DLC to, I forget which game it was, Morrowind or something, whatever it was, right? Now DLC is a staple, right? They are also the first developer to get mods for Skyrim on PS4 and Xbox One.
Really?
Correct. You can mod your PS4 and Xbox One Skyrim, as far as I know. This was announced 15 years ago or whatever it was. And play a partially modded game. That's why it's actually built into the remastered edition.
Which modded? Which console was this? PS1 or PS4?
PS4 and Xbox.
Oh,
Xbox
wow. That's really cool, man.
So
that's really cool.
Bethesda usually sets that precedent. It's like how Apple usually sets some weird precedent, and everyone follows suit a few years later. Bethesda does that. Did it with DLC. Now they're going to do it with mods, and I hope the rest of the community kind of supports that.
I think it's great. I mean, what's a better way to keep people interested in your game and
then being able to customize it after you beat it? I played Skyrim for 500 hours on the PS3. I am proud and not proud of this simultaneously. 3
that's what I'm saying.
Playthroughs with 0 mods.
And then when you got the mods, did you play? How many times did you play through?
I've played through probably 6 more. But as various, like after a while, there's a mod you can install where you don't have to start in Helgen, right? You don't have to start as the person who's going to get executed. You can start in a city, right? And one of the mods is you can start in a city and own that house in the city, right? Which means you've done all of the reputation for that city or whatever. So I like to now go to a random part. It's usually the north part of the map because I actually never really spent too much time there, so I'm not really familiar with it. So I'm like learning new things all the time. I haven't played in a while. And I am now like, I guess, role playing as a citizen of that city and only doing things that would benefit that city because it's fun because I've played the game so many times.
Yeah, it keeps it fresh.
It keeps it super fresh. I fucking never do any of the snow part of the map. Now I know it like the back.
You know, it's a game that would benefit heavily from having a mod community, but it's just not going to happen. I mean, never say never, but it's just not going to happen. The Division. There's a game that needs a mod.
You know the Division's under fire right now, right?
Why is
The
that?
Division community is calling for the heads of the developers right now. They actually want to kick the development team who made the Division 1 and 2 off the project
Why?
because they can't balance the game. They either balance it for PvP or they balance it for Dark Zone, which is kind of also PvP, or they balance it for just the regular game. They can't seem to get the balance correct across all three. And what they're doing is just balancing all at one time instead of saying, hey, when you're in the regular game, this is your scale of damage, right?
Mm.
And when you're in multiplayer, all of the guns do the same amount of damage, AR, LMG, whatever, like in your class, right? So they're no different. So that's balanced, right? And when you're in the Dark Zone, you can only use these certain guns. That's not what they're doing. They're just going, hey, this meta seems strong. Let's nerf it across everything, right? So people are super pissed at the fact that they cannot at all develop, balance, monitor their game. And people are pissed.
Man, you say people. I thought I was the last person playing the Division.
No, dude, the
there's
Division has such a hardcore community that love the Division. And honestly, I would love to be part of one of them. But when I see these development flaws, and it's clear from the first one and the beginning of the second one that it's clearly unbalanced. Like, I can't get behind him anymore. Played the game. I loved the game. I love both the Division.
We're gonna play part 3 when it comes out, though, right?
The Division, the third Division.
Yes,
I'm taking a week off for it already. Yeah, I know.
I mean, it's just gotta happen.
Just a
I'm like,
rolling
you better get off this high horse by the time I want
no,
all of this stuff.
I love the Division at its core,
Right.
both 1 and 2, and 3 when it eventually comes out. If the developers had kicked off the game by then because of the outrage. But
It's interesting because I just recommended my buddy just got his first PlayStation 4. I know that's weird. PS5 is on its way, but he just got it. We want to get into the reasons why this is his first PS4. So he's asking me about games to get. I'm trying to explain to him the way it works now because the last console you have is a PS3. He was like, "Wait, so what do you mean I have to pay for an online subscription?" I'm like, let me see if I can break this down because I know everything I'm about to say sounds like
hold on, but it's not so weird. If you had a PS3, the alternative to that was the 360, right?
Right.
But and that had a paid subscription.
But the PS3 didn't. So
I know. I had a PS3.
Yeah.
But I'm saying it was in the world of gaming at the time. This is not a new concept.
It's not a new concept. But like I said, everything I'm about to say sounds like it is. So I'm explaining to him you have to have a PlayStation Plus account to be able to play most games. And I'm like, and before you buy a game, especially since he's into shooters, I'm like, you need to check if it says online content only available through PlayStation Plus.
The Division is one of those games, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
I was recommending games for him, and I just thought about that for a second. I don't like that aspect of the PS4 and console gaming. I know we're way off the subject of Dark Souls 3, but since we're talking about
we're just talking about gaming at this point.
But you mean this is the thing that really gets me. You buy the game, right? It's 100% online. So you mean to tell me I can't even play the story mode? I gotta pay for PlayStation Plus? And this is why I tell so many people when they ask me, like, is it a big deal between PC and console? I'm like, one of the things you'll have with owning your PC is you own it. And then 2, you won't have to pay for online services. I'm like, that's huge in itself. You know, there are multiple different ways for you to communicate with people while you play. I'm like, it's just a better look. But while we're talking about that, I want to talk about this. What's up with the Huntsman, man? I meant to put this on the topic list, but I forgot about it. What's going on?
The Chicago Huntsman in the CDL.
Yeah,
they're playing online. That's why a lot of these teams practice all year to play on LAN. Have you ever played a game on LAN?
No.
So
I wanted
you
to
know
go to
how
a LAN
games
party,
have lag, right?
Yeah.
And there's a little bit of latency, say in Call of Duty when you shoot someone, because you're sending when you perform an action, it gets sent to a server, and the server sends it back to tell you what the reaction is, right? That's essentially how it works. It's really quick, usually like 30 or less milliseconds. Okay, cool. Now imagine that without the server having to be involved. Everything is instant, right?
Yeah.
The game plays different. Because there is no communication. It's between consoles. It's 0 ping. It sounds great, right?
Yeah,
but if you ever hear right, exactly. If you ever hear people talk about what it's like to play on LAN, it's it's perfect, right? Essentially, it's perfect because you guys are all in the same environment without any communication back and forth, right? They are practicing to play on LAN, and now they're having to play online. Chicago is doing really bad. Dallas is doing really bad. A lot of the teams who have these younger players, the not as experienced on LAN, all of the different players who practice yearly but aren't necessarily performing on LAN are doing really well online because they're so used to just playing public matches and comp games online and 8s and 10s and whatever it is. They're used to that. Where the Huntsmen and Dallas and a lot of those, when they practice fully, they fly another team in and they're used to that LAN environment.
So, I mean, I know.
Also, they fucking suck. I'm not making excuses for them.
Well, did they lose today?
They were down 1-2 when I was looking to New York, which is a shitty team.
They apparently won. What's the guy's name with the glasses, kind of long hair, streams a ton hat? I made the comparison of him and Scump being like Scottie Pippen and Jordan, and you corrected me. You're like, yeah, but Scump's the Scottie Pippen in that scenario.
He is, yes.
Formal, is that his name?
Correct, yeah, Formal.
Yeah, so I guess your man wasn't showing up for practices and stuff like that. Apparently,
yeah. Apparently, Formal had a pretty severe bout of depression.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know. To be like, there's a common theme where if, to be really good at something, you're lacking other places in your life, right? If you're an incredible driver, you're most likely not. You don't have a personality, right? Because the only thing you could do is focusing on being perfect, right? If you were a really good baseball player, right, you probably don't have time to do the other things that you want to be good at, right?
Yeah, and that's usually the way it goes. Yeah,
right. And I think Formal is in that category of being so good at something that the rest of everything else either doesn't mean much or is just not fulfilling or just he's lacking, and I would think that causes depression.
No, I could definitely see that, especially if you're isolated with those feelings of this being the center point of my world. You know what's crazy though? So I'm just going to say this man to man, right? Let's say one day this channel blows up, we get 10 million subscribers. I will always do the same thing I've always done. If you and I have something that we need to discuss, we will discuss it privately, and it will not become a
yeah, I'm like that too. I can't do things openly.
And I mean, it's good subject matter for the trolls and for us content creators to be able to speculate and talk about this stuff. I'm just going to throw this out there as a man. Listen, next time your teammate's going through an issue, you don't even have to do that thing where you go like, just kind of like. So
here's the thing. You're not. I mean, I 100% mean to cut you off here because I don't want you to say something
that we can't take back.
Not even that we can't take back, but it goes against the people that are involved, right?
Right.
Hex runs this team. Yes. Hex has always made it a huge priority in his teams, and including when he was going through losing Optic, right, to be very private about things. He does the exact same thing you just said. Is you're going to be a man about it. You're going to do it in private, and then when it's resolved, then maybe we could talk about it, right?
Right.
He has a things called I think he says is the Hex Files, right? Where he actually just released one recently.
I've heard about this.
When Scump left Optic to go to Envy, the argument between him and Nadeshot, Scump and Nadeshot, he finally released that video after they've been talking about it for 5, 6, 7 years, whatever it is, right? He runs this team, and what teammate was openly talking about it after? Was it after? It was a really important question. Was it after or before Formal came out and said, "Hey, listen, I'm sorry. I went through a slump, and now I'm coming back. We're going to strip." Because I saw that tweet, and I was totally like, "Fuck." He either broke Hex's code or he's completely over it, and they're coming back.
So you know what? That's a good question. I'd have to go back and look at the timestamp. Let me just put it to you this way. I need to learn these guys' names, but out of respect, I don't want to mess up their names, so I don't put much effort into learning them. But this fellow is what is a nice way to say this? He is the bigger gentleman on their team. Wears glasses, bald head.
Arcides?
I think that's his name. And
is he on that team? Yes, he is Arcides. That's Arcides.
Yeah, so he was doing a round robin type situation on a vlog podcast. and they were asking him general questions about how everything's going. And I will give him this: he did not say the person's name. And then the interviewer said, "Oh, can we take a guess at who it is?" And he said, "It won't take much for you to guess. This person had been doing 18-hour streams, et cetera, et cetera." Even that. Now, remember, this is just me speaking personally. I'm not speaking for the Huntsman. Even that, in my opinion, is too much. But I would have to go back and check.
You're 100% right on that. The fact that it's too much. Yeah.
I would have to go back and check it. But this is the nature of team sports and stuff, right? You played baseball and soccer for many years, right? You know, guys start to get on each other's nerves. Look, Borderlands almost ruined our friendship. There was a point where I was just like, I'm going to have to kill Zach. Like, it's going to happen.
There was a point I wanted you to kill me.
I was like, this game's never going to end.
I don't make excuses for people. Right. But Arcides is very new to the scene. He is one of the young, up-and-coming guys in the scene, right? And I almost don't know if he's been seasoned enough by Hector or by Formal and Scrump themselves. They played for Hex for a long time.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's been seasoned enough.
Yeah, if he's been broken into the dynamic. Let me also say this, right? When it comes to group dynamics.
How old is Arcides?
The way I handle things is not a prerequisite for the way for everyone else to handle. I don't have that unrealistic expectation. But I would just say that in this instance, if Formal came out first and said that, I 100% get what you're saying. I think that the Huntsmen are a team. The only people who can really beat them are themselves. So I hope they pull it together and, you know, kind of deal with any issues going on internally. Because in all honesty, between the Huntsmen and you getting me into FPSs, right? I remember the first day I came in, I was like, hey, can you explain to me who Hex is and who this guy is and who this guy is? And like,
explaining it, did I almost break down in tears explaining who Hex is?
We were in McDonald's. I think this is the reason you got up and walked away from that.
I was already late to get back to work. I've told you this 13 times.
You were so emotional. You're like,
I gotta go. No, you asked me who Big T was.
Yes.
In McDonald's that day, you didn't ask me who Hex was.
Okay, yeah.
You asked me who Big Timer was, and I explained Hex way later on because I introduced you to Hex. But
you explained who Big Timer was, and then you explained who Optic was, and then that's when you started telling me about Hex.
Oh, okay, that makes a lot of sense. Man,
it's gonna be all right. It's gonna be all right, man. Look, we're getting too glum here. Let's talk about something that's gonna bring.
Hold on, we missed my entire rant about what I've been playing. I know you don't want to hear this at all. I know you don't want to hear it.
I do. I want to hear. What have you been playing?
I have solely been playing RuneScape.
You've been a happier person for it, too.
I have been playing a game that came out technically in 99. Right, 21 years ago. I have been playing this game. I have my original account.
Okay.
For 13 and a half years.
Do you have any of your stuff backed up anywhere else? Like if something happens one day, there are
no backups for this. So it's not a single. It's only an online game, right? RuneScape is an MMO. I'm sure a lot of you guys out there know what RuneScape is. You played it or heard people playing it. It's an online multiplayer game. It's an MMO. It used to be browser based. The way that you used to get onto it was going on. Oh man, there used to be a Flash game website, and I forget what the fuck. Miniclip. You used to go on miniclip.com to be able to get to RuneScape, right? This is how old this game is, right? 2013, they go through the evolution of combat. 2012, they go through the evolution of combat. 2013, they release a secondary game to their game RuneScape called Old School RuneScape, which is the game right when I started playing. I started playing in 2006. This game is set in the version from 2007. That's the backup they're on, right?
Right.
My favorite time in the game is about 2010. Updated graphics, there's summoning in the game, there's dungeoneering in the game, but right before they added that like divination or whatever it was, the skill, doesn't matter. That was my favorite time in the game. I would love to play that. But 2007 Scape, 07 Scape, Old School RuneScape, OSR is what I call it. I am 3 to 4 days of grind away from hitting my first max skill, right? I am very close to being on the level before. So the way that it works, the XP system.
I just looked at the gameplay for Old School RuneScape.
You're not going to enjoy it. You're not going to enjoy it, right?
Okay,
It is purely a game that I've been playing for so long. I'm 23, right? I made the game when I was 13 and a half. Or I made the game 13 and a half years ago. So I was about 10 years old when I started playing this game, right? If you are dedicated to something for this long, it doesn't matter what the game looks like or how it plays or whatever it is. You love something that you've been playing for this long, right? That's why I am with RuneScape.
All right.
After 13 and a half years, I'm finally going to hit my first max level skill.
What does that mean? Exactly.
So the levels are 1 to 99, right? It's 13,027,000 XP from level 1 to max level, right? I mean, you can't do any better than that. I'm going to hit max level strength. Basically, there are melee, right? So like hand-to-hand combat, attack, strength, and defense. Or attack and strength is really the melee, defense is overall, but attack, strength, and defense, right? Attack is how often you hit, strength is how hard you hit, and defense is how much you mitigate the hit coming in, right? So I'm going to hit strength. I'm hitting about as hard as I possibly can hit. I'm one level of hitting as hard as I can possibly hit, right? That's what it means. The halfway point, right? So 1 to 99, 13 million rounded down experience, right? What do you think the halfway point is? Because the leveling in this is very, very lopsided.
I don't even know how to
You're flustered. You're flustered. I like this. Halfway point to 99, Steve, and I've lived by this motto my entire life, is 92.
Okay.
It's 92. The way that it works, the leveling is every 7 levels, you have had double the XP you had 7 levels ago. 92 to 99 is 7 levels. You double your XP from 92 to 99. I am very close. I am knocking on the door of hitting this max level of excellence. All right, I'm joining the other 260,000 people who have this max level. Finally! I feel like I've legitimized myself in the world of RuneScape. That's what I've been playing. I've been playing.
No, hold on for a second. I can't just let this die. So that one's almost at max level. Are there any other attributes that are almost at max level?
Define almost. So
like,
there
is there
are
any, like,
23 skills? I should know this, I feel like. I believe there are 23 skills, 22, 23. I have a number of skills above 80, right? That's almost. The only other skill that I have that is like severely close is 23, I was right. Is hit points, right? So how much health you have, constitution, hit points. It's leveled up while you're leveling up your combat skills. Melee attack or melee ranged and magic. It's at 91, almost level 92. It's almost halfway to max. So that is my next closest skill. Another skill, Slayer, which is you go and you get assigned monsters to kill, right, in various locations or whatever. It's a really good money making skill later on. I'm at 85. I have a friend
that you need to meet, and I just think I think you guys would hit it off pretty swimmingly.
Do they play RuneScape as well?
I don't know if he plays RuneScape, but I know you're speaking the same language as him, because I remember one day he came over to visit me when Gavin was first born, and he was talking about some RPG game, and I had the same seizure-like effect as he was describing it that I did right now. No, so here's something interesting about you playing RuneScape. I'm just going to lay this out here. I said it briefly before, but I'm going to make sure we don't get off of it. Your mood is 100% better when you're playing RuneScape. When you are playing games that you feel like you are forcing yourself to play or being forced to play, not like talking to you sometimes right after you play COD and you decide to play something, I'm like, hey, what's going on? Jump on Discord. Like, how's everybody doing tonight? Like, great, Steve. But it's actually therapeutic. It's actually even got you. I'm just gonna bring it up. It even got you thinking about streaming again. That's how much you love this game, man.
Dude, I've loved this game for a long time, right? I think I said something to you when I first started playing again a few weeks back, and you're like, "Oh, you're playing that game? I thought you're done with it." I'm like, "No, you're never done with RuneScape. You're only taking breaks, right?"
No, that's because I had confused it with League of Legends.
No, fuck League of Legends. That game is. I was gonna say some heinous stuff right there. I had to stop myself. No, I have such a love for RuneScape, and now that my account is high enough level, I can start doing some of the end game stuff, right? So like in all MMOs, there's bosses and there's stuff along the way that you have to do. This game doesn't have dungeons like World of Warcraft, or like actually any MMO now does, right? Doesn't have that. It has like mid-level bosses and then like high-level bosses, and that's it. They've added more. They've added raids and stuff now. But I'm starting to be able to get to the level of like being able to do some of the stuff that I always wanted to do. And that like that factor is such a motivating factor to me.
It's nothing like what you're describing, right? It's not the same, but there is a state in the latest God of War game, right, where you can get Kratos the right amount of attributes on his gear in combination with gear, where he quite literally becomes the definition of OP, right? And you can go back and get your comeuppance against some bosses who, like, maybe you just barely got through the fight and you got to beat them. And that's where I'm at with God of War 5. So I understand that.
So is there a point in God of War where you basically can't die if you tried?
Okay, so you can always die, right? But there's a point in God of War where you get this one enchantment which slows things down. It like basically slows down.
It becomes hard to die, right?
It becomes extremely hard. But you get this one enchantment, right? And then if you do it the right way and you build it up the right way, every person who's done this, when you watch their gameplay, it's absolutely insane. Like the poor bot that they're fighting against, the boss, will swing, and the next 20 minutes of game footage is of this person getting the hit points, to recumulate, like to replenish that power, doing it again, and just slaying. So I get what you're saying. I'm on Twitch right now, and I'm looking at RuneScape. I should probably have typed in old school RuneScape. And like, there are people watching, man. I gotta be honest with you.
Old school RuneScape is actually more popular than RuneScape. Not in player base, but in like viewers and like in hardcores, right? One of the things I really love about when they released old school RuneScape is the fact that they now pull everybody who's over a total level of 250, which is literally an afternoon's worth of work, right? They pull for the updates. If an update doesn't pass 75% approval rating from the player base, it does not go into the game.
Wow.
I love that about the game. What I don't love is the fact that the community has turned down every new skill. There has been 3 or 4 skills proposed to the community that they're just like, no, we'll vote for it on the first try, right? So when skills come in, I think it has to go through 3 or 4 sets of votes, right? Do we want this new skill? Yes. Do we want this new skill revised? Yes. Do we want this new skill revised to the point where we could put it in the game? No. And that has been the case every single time.
Well, I mean, that's what's the great and horrible thing about fandom in any situation. It's right. When you start, you care about the community enough to ask, and then you ask maybe one too many times, were there actually people who would have enjoyed having that? Dude, is someone watching?
Man. I have voted no for all of the skills. I thought
voted no?
Yes. I thought the last skill that has I don't like any of the ideas that they've had. What I really want is them to add the skills that were in the game when I was the most in love with it. What I want is a skill called Dungeoneering, where you go in with nothing and you have to go through this basically maze of a dungeon and build yourself up, fight the boss, go to the next one. Right? That's what I want. That's a lot of fun. Go ahead.
Since I got you going on this, interjecting question here. So you got RuneScape. That was when you started playing this at 10, you said, or 13 and a half?
10. I've had the game for 13 and a half years.
What about WoW?
World of Warcraft I didn't start playing until last year.
Okay.
Always wanted to play it. Never had a good enough computer. And never was able to afford the subscription. So to play World of Warcraft, you have to pay, right? There are 2 concurrent running versions of RuneScape where you could be free to play, where there's 9, I don't know how many skills available, 15 skills available to you of the 23, and a portion of the map, right? The starting portion of the map is available to you. Or you could pay the $10 a month. It actually used to be like $6 a month when I started playing. I feel old for that. That'll unlock the rest of the map, the rest of the skills, and all of the things you could do, right? Obviously, I pay for multiple subscriptions at this point.
How many subscriptions do you? How many accounts do you have?
I have 6 accounts.
What?
How many do I pay for membership on? 2.
Okay.
I pay for my main account and an Iron Man. So basically, an Iron Man is you can't. So there's a global trading system in the game called the Grand Exchange. You can't use that. You can't trade with other players. If you're next to me and you kill a mob and it drops something that I need, I can't pick that up off the ground because I'm an Iron Man. So like you have to do everything for yourself. So I pay for my regular account and my Iron Man account.
This is insane. I'm watching the gameplay here, so I assume that what I'm looking at here on the screen, I wish I could do a screen share right now, is multiple different people playing together. And I'm trying to figure out if this, oh yeah, it is. It's obviously there's a chat, and I'm trying to figure out, I guess this guy's on a quest. What the hell's happening right now? It's getting weird on the screen, on my side of the screen right now.
Yeah, it takes a little bit to know exactly what's going on, but once you kind of get the basics of it, it's a fairly simple game.
No, I get this. I can dig this, man. I can dig this. I can see how this, especially since it's nostalgic and it's still going. That's the great thing.
Still going, still actively updated. Actually, 2019 was the best year for RuneScape since its inception. Most players, breaking player records, most money they made. I think they grossed almost $1 billion last year. RuneScape is still in its I don't know, profitability. I wouldn't say heyday. I would say that's like 2008, 2011, something like that. But that was the golden age, I believe, of RuneScape. But that's where we are. All right, that's all I want to talk about.
How many ounces of water do you drink a day, Zach?
How many ounces? 100 plus, easy.
Really?
Yeah.
I've drank 840 ounces today. And do you have
to pee, don't you?
Yes. No, not right now. Don't say that. Don't ruin that. But I've been struggling to I'm like, how do people drink
840 ounces is a lot, Steve. I said 100, and you're like, I've had 500 today.
I think I'm overhydrated. So, all right, listen. You want a source for this one? You're gonna have to listen to the 2-hour podcast. But I can just tell you that Joe Rogan has become not only the darling of the Rise of the Hills YouTube channel, but he's also become like the new voice for the angry progressives. Because he's just like, yeah, Joe Biden's an idiot. And people are really really coming for him. But he's under fire again because I think he's just doing something that makes him a responsible business owner and the type of person you want to work for in these type of situations. But I get the other side of this, so he's been having his people tested regularly, right? And
this is what we're talking about, right? So he laid out the reasoning. What's the actual controversy?
The controversy is I think people are upset. This is hard for me. I don't know.
Would you like me to explain it?
No. Okay. I'm going to explain it because I don't
have enough alcohol left for this.
You got to at some point, even at my ripe old age, I got to accept that people get upset about stuff, and now everyone has a way to voice their anger. People are upset about the fact that Joe Rogan has access to tests that other people wouldn't have access to in regard to testing for the pandemic. And I get the sentiment. There are a lot of sentiments that I get and I can empathize with. That does not mean I agree with it. So does this mean that this man is not supposed to continue to test everyone in his office to allow himself to be able to do the things that he needs to do? If you wanted to make another argument, I believe he lives in California and they film in California, right?
Correct, yes.
So you can make a different argument that, like, hey, if they're filming outside of his house, they're not sheltering in place. I would stand with you 100% in saying that he's a hypocrite, but then there's really nothing we can do, right? You're not the governor of California. You're not the police. So other than being mad on the internet, what's the point of this whole thing? But that's the gist of it. That is the gist. People are not happy with the fact that he has access to testing. And then his rebuttal to that, which got him in a little bit more hot water, which was, I believe, completely accurate. I've been doing the research. I haven't found anything discredited yet.
Was the rebuttal? Can I interrupt here? His rebuttal, if I remember correctly, was I've been tested twice, and I plan on getting tested twice more this week, and I don't give a fuck what you people think. Because that's what I saw him say, and I almost lost it when I saw that.
No, I had the more stoic, responsible rebuttal, which was the But no, that's gold right there. Like he basically said, the issue is misinformation. There isn't a lack of test. It's just a lack of tests in certain areas. There is an abundance of tests, but certain areas don't have access to them. He's like, and then there's an abundance of antibody. You can test for the antibody. That test is readily available.
Yeah, dude, I don't even want to talk about New York testing for the antibodies, dude. I don't want to talk about it. That was the scariest thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
What?
Did you see the results?
No. What happened?
They tested 3,000 people. 1,000 people had the antibodies.
Really?
1/3 of the people had the antibodies. They tested 3,000 people across the state of New York. 1/3 of the people had the antibodies.
Really?
They estimate 2.7 million people in Manhattan have had the pandemic,
and not even known it, right?
And most of them haven't known it. That's the scariest thing I've ever heard. I'm convinced, by the way, that I've already had it.
Why do you say that?
Because in like late December, you remember this? I was sick from before Christmas through New Year.
Yeah,
I got sick. I think I might even, dude. I'm thinking about this. I might have given it to you. Remember, because I was sick and I came over for one of the fight nights in that period of time, and then you were sick in the beginning of January.
Well, that's if. See, this is where.
But that's if, right? But
when we get into the tinfoil.
I was sick for 3.5 weeks. Everyone in my office was sick. The rumor is that it came over from Europe. We didn't even get it from directly from China. We got it from Europe.
That would make sense. I remember.
Okay, hold on. We're on this now. We're gonna fucking talk about it. Did you hear why Italy got hit so hard?
No.
Northern Italy specifically. The north of Italy has a lot of textile factories, and I heard this once, and I'm repeating it about 1 million times. The northern Italy has a lot of textile factories that, in like December, had imported 100,000 Chinese workers from Wuhan.
Oh my goodness. So let's all practice a level of maturity here, right? So there's some people who might misconstrue what Zach just said. There's nothing racist in saying that.
Oh, no. I'm just saying the fact that they brought in people who potentially were exposed to the virus would cause a higher elevated numbers in the virus. I'm not saying because they were Chinese that they had it automatically. I'm just saying that statistically 100,000 people brought in a pandemic before we even knew that it was a pandemic. Someone was going to have it.
Yeah, no, 100%. Off air, I'm going to tell you about another instance of something like that doesn't have to do with a pandemic, but it's too volatile to talk about it. But I'll tell you off air. So here's the crazy thing, right? Here's the crazy thing, right? It's not the Netherlands, it's not I forget which country it is. So they just started having kids going back to school and stuff like that. And I got to be honest with you, man. They jumped out ahead of this thing so quickly, like in regards to shutting everything down, that now they're like leagues ahead in regards to getting everyone back to where they need to go. And it was actually, me and my wife were watching it today on the news, and it was actually a beautiful sight. Now, there's some conspiracy theorists that are going to come for me right away. Listen, I believe those kids got shot in that school in Connecticut. I don't believe that they faked that type of stuff. I'm not that guy.
I didn't know we were going there, dude.
Yeah, I'm not that guy. When I seen these kids running around, as a parent, when I seen these kids running around back at school, and they're still practicing a level of social distancing, they're having all the classes outside in a tent with open ventilation as opposed to inside the school and stuff like that.
Smart, unless you're in one of those fucking Nordic countries and it's like 8 degrees still.
I cannot remember the name of this place, and it's making me feel like I'm dyslexic.
That's fine. You are dyslexic, but that's okay.
Backwards and inwards out my words go sometimes. But here's the thing, right? They got ahead of it, and now they're on the other side of it. In regards to the Joe Rogan situation, what he literally just said was, you can find a test for antibodies where I'm at, and I'm able to get these tests. You can't begrudge the man for being able to do this, right?
Listen, when you have a level of money where you can have a doctor on staff, and you're still doing your show, but you're getting the people tested for your safety, for Jamie's safety. Dude, hold on a second. I wish we had a producer that I could be like, yo, look that shit up. I wish we had a Jamie. One day we'll be there. Continue the growth that we had last week. We'll fucking be there like by the end of this year. But like, I wish we had that shit.
Yeah.
But if you have that level of money, I get it. Well, the privilege get to do everything. No. The privilege get to do everything because they have the fucking money that makes shit happen. Right? Yeah. If I had Joe Rogan money, for sure, I would have been tested already. B, would have been tested for the antibodies. C, would have a fucking podcast studio.
Oh man. What was that thing I sent you? The podcasting
The
studio?
the Rode Pro
Rode-
podcaster or something like that.
I got to stop watching videos about that thing, man. Like I'm not even listening to the audio at this point. I'm just watching the hand model go like this over the device, and I'm like, this thing is a. I'm like, this thing is
Stevie's
amazing.
thinking about getting a better microphone, making this more of a professional showdown.
Yeah,
other
no,
than his
I don't need
microphone that
any.
picks
I don't
up
need the
all
graphics card. I
of
don't need it. I don't need.
No, at
CPU.
this point, dude, we're a talk show, and we're having
Yeah.
a great time doing it. To be completely honest, let's
So did you
move away from pandemic, dude. I can't. Joe Rogan's under fire again for another horseshit reason.
Hold up for a second. The fact that he went after Joe Biden is just like, what do you
Perfect.
think?
The guy
What do you
is
think was
senile.
going to happen? What do you think is going to happen? He's going to talk about these issues.
Do you
and
know
he's
what it's gonna?
happen?
Do you know what happens?
What?
The more people that say Joe Rogan's name makes his show even more popular, and Rogan makes more money.
Rogan, we want our check. So, what have you learned, if anything, during the pandemic, Zach? What have you learned? What have you learned?
I've my RuneScape knowledge has amassed twofold. That is the only thing.
You can literally do master level class professor.
Oh,
Keynote.
and I'm not, dude. Hold on a second. I'm not even there yet. I'm like mid tier, dude. Once I start learning the patterns for the bosses and shit, like, listen, I can run you down for some shit.
Listen, if someone would have walked into that part of the podcast right now, they would have probably thought they were at a TED talk and like, what is what? Scott,
Also,
Scott,
just on a side note here, we're actually thinking
Yeah.
about doing one of these live coming up. Let us know. I know we're like an hour and a half in or something. Actually, we're about an hour and 20 minutes in. If you've made it this long, let us know what you think. Should we do one of these live? Would you guys interact? Would you guys come and you know, could we do the last 20 minutes of the show doing fan questions? That's what I'd like to do if we could possibly do that.
what have I learned?
What have
Well,
you learned? I really what I want to do is, have you picked up any new skills? In one of my group chats, one of my friends is learning how to play guitar because of it.
Hydration. I'm no. You
Steve has become a Hydra homie.
That's
a subreddit.
My wife has been telling me for years, almost the entire time we've been together, drink more water,
That's a good point.
exercise. She's like,
You
feel
need to
much-
exercise.
Thank you, Zach. I know I need to
I
exercise.
feel like
I've
it
been-
makes you more calm when you do. That's why I'm saying you need it.
Listen. 8 bottles of 40 ounce. And like
That's a lot of water, dude.
Just a lot of water. And also, you know what? I've already known, but I've relearned today. I have a weak bladder, man. Like I'm getting up every 2 minutes. Like I'm
Listen,
like one
we've
of
been
those.
here for an hour and probably at this point we're an hour and 35 minutes or more because
I made it.
we do a little bit of pre-show, right?
I made it.
We pre-show. We have conversations. We have stuff coming
You went to
up.
the bathroom before this, man.
Correct. I did.
We're not gonna talk about Kim Jong.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
The only reason we're not going to talk about it is, one, I don't want his people coming after me. 2, we don't know what's going on there yet. So Zach made a responsible call.
Listen,
not
we
to talk
actually
about
we
issues.
could do an entire separate episode on the fact that Kim Jong Un is potentially ill. Right? There's no
And
confirmation.
some people are speculating that he's dead.
Some people are speculating that he's dead. We had a long text message conversation. We are on opposite sides of the aisle. Oh wow, way to delete my last topic.
What was it? Deleted the wrong one. Zach was in the real world. I
was in the
it.
real
Don't worry.
world all week. The Kim Jong Un topic. We're not gonna talk about it clearly. But look into it. That's all I gotta say.
So you were in the real world this week, huh?
I had to go into the office this week. Some of the things that I've noticed: no one on the road. No one on the road. It is free world out there. Drive as fast as you want.
No cops either.
No, there are still cops. There are still cops. It is really creepy. And listen, I'm a big guy. I don't in social situations or in situations in public, I don't get scared about a lot of things, right? It is really fucking creepy working in a building that usually houses 1,000 people pretty much by yourself. It is really fucking creepy.
I bet, man. Is there
There are-
anyone else in the building?
A dozen people. And 3 of them or 4 of them are the security guards up front that don't leave the front. Right. So there are like a dozen people. Like there are some people that absolutely have to be there, and that's fine. Maybe there's 2 dozen, and I just don't see the other half because they're so far up. But it is really creepy. working in a giant ass building by yourself, pretty much.
I bet, man.
And I was busy the entire time, like weeks worth of work. But man, it is creepy. And then you hear that one person, because when I go in the morning, there's 2 doors that I have to get into my area, right? There's like an airlock, basically. I open both doors, right? I don't want to have to. I go out to go to the bathroom. I have to go run to another part of the building. Like I have to do a thing in a server room or a data closet, whatever. I don't want to have to open and touch the handles 30 times a day, right? I get up and take a walk and I'm bored, whatever. I open the doors when I get in the morning, right? The one door stays open by itself. The other one I put a door jam in and leave it open, right? You hear that person walk by, tick, 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 tick. And you're like the only person in this entire 2 quadrants of the building, this half of the hallway and the entire back half of the building, right?
That is creepy. I just envisioned a killer. Like, you did hear me today, Zach.
Exactly. Right? They'd have to get the security first. I don't know, you know?
Yeah, but that never goes well for the security guard in a horror movie. You know that. It's like, you think it's old
Hold on a
George
second.
who's been working. Hold on for a second.
These aren't...
He's like been there for 60 years and he's almost time to retire. That guy gets his head cut off. The new guy is like smoking weed in the back. He gets stabbed like 80 times. No one even stops him. You know,
that's a good point. I never thought about that. The sheriffs would be getting murdered like this. The men with guns in the building would be getting murdered like this.
That's why I run my own security firm. That's why.
Old school fashioned way. But yeah, that's it. People are still going out to the stores, which I think is kind of moronic.
Are you doing your own grocery shopping?
I don't have anyone else to do it for me.
So I went out to Sam's today and
so all the way to Sam's?
Yeah, that's where I go. So I either go to Sam's or I go to the place in between here in Jersey. I'm not going to give up the name because then you'll know too much.
Technically half in Jersey. I know exactly where it is.
Yeah, and I went to Sam's today. And it was actually fairly easy. I waited on. They have a pretty good system. They're getting kind of loose with it though. Before you show up, and there was no way they were letting more than 6 people at that store. So you're standing outside. But now they let in about 10 of us into the store, and we're walking around. And I noticed there was more and more traffic. But I had a mask on. They had the one-way direction.
Do you have? Hold on. Do you have a surgical mask? Do you have like a t-shirt mask? What kind of mask do you have?
I have a mask that someone made for me. My wife ordered them, and it covers the entire face. Not a surgical mask. Though,
okay, no. I have a full N95 mask.
Whoa, where'd you get that from?
Work.
Oh, they gave it to you?
The New York State, you have to provide them. Yeah. Yeah, I have a full N95 mask. Yeah.
Cuomo just went to bat for all you guys. You didn't name your department specifically, but he was talking about the police and the firewood. But when you talk about the state,
no one names IT. Ever. I have worked more hours in this last month and a half. Like at one point, like right after one of our shows was like 10:30 at night, I had to log back on and start doing work. Like I have worked more during this month and a half pandemic so far than ever before. Multiple 60-hour weeks.
Man, look, you're gonna be getting those tires pretty soon though.
Oh, don't worry. I can afford the tires and sets for a few years, honestly, right now. The funny story, my old bank account, the one that I'm actually trying to get rid of, but I can't. The banks are fucking open, so I can't go. It's linked to my dad's account, right? Because it's from when I was in dude, I've had that bank account for like 15 years, right? Dad texted me the other day and he's like, hey, I think your stimulus check went through. There's X amount of money in this bank account. He goes, I was like, yeah, I saw it. It's been there for a little while. He goes, oh, do you need to transfer it to me and I'll go withdraw the money and get it out for you? He's like, maybe I could wire it to you, your new bank account. Maybe I could write you a check. And I'm like, yeah, Dad, I'm not exactly hurting for money. I'm like, I'll fucking wait. Don't worry. He's like, are you sure? Like, don't you have like this and that to do and that to pay or that? And I'm like, yeah, I honestly haven't even been worried about any of that in like weeks. Yeah, I'm making good money.
It's a good. Just let him hold on to it because all that's going to turn into is the next upgrade for your computer or your car. So
what it's going to turn into is like rent because I want my own fucking place.
Oh, hey man, there's a few places on the way to my son's preschool that are renting right now.
That shit is so expensive.
No, man. Well, I'm good at this. I'll talk them down for you, man.
Are you going to pay half of it? Are you going to talk them down and then pay half of it?
Listen, people start acting really weird when you show up to every place they go on a daily basis. Like, Like, this is really, really nice that you bring your kids here. Didn't know you guys like ice cream so much. You ready to call it?
I'm ready to call it, man. I think this is a really good episode, guys. I know I mentioned at the beginning of the show. I'm going to bombard you with it. We're trying to hit that 100 subscriber mark. We're closing in. We had a really good week. Really got us pumping our tires here. New things coming down the pipe. Kind of exciting. I'm excited. Everyone should be excited for this stuff.
Some
Check us
possible
out.
good interviews coming pretty soon here.
Yeah. I guess we didn't even mention that. I actually had another person reach out to me wanted to be a guest on the show. I think people who watch the show enjoy it. So if you enjoy it, please share it to your followers, to your family, to your friends, anyone you think would enjoy it. Comment down below. We'd love to hear it. If you guys want us to make a video on a topic, definitely. I've been saying this and no one's taken us up on our offer yet. Please throw it down below in a comment section. We'll make an entire video on whatever the hell you guys are trying to say and trying to hear. Check us out on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram. Do we have anything else? Discord. There's a Discord channel down below. Hit it up. Join it. We'll, we get enough people in there. We get 10, 15 people in there. We'll do subscriber nights and we'll hang out with you guys. We'll schedule a time, hang out with you guys. You want to play games, you want to watch a movie, whatever you guys want to do. We'll hang out. We'll
come to your house and do it.
No, we're gonna do it in Discord, socially distanced. We'll do that. We'll give back to our community. We love you guys.
I have to use the bathroom.
I do too. I'm trying to get through this post amble here.
I have to go.
Like, how bad is it? Like,
it's really bad.
Is it bad that I can't ask you if there's any more social medias that we should be asking these people to follow?
Thanks everyone for tuning in.
This has been episode 28. Steve has to pee.